Alright, so the next thing that we're going to pair with our hip internal and external pales and rails is capsular CARs. So the reason that we want to pair capsular CARs, which are just a little bit different than your normal CARs, not by much, with the pales and rails is because with pales and rails we're going in and we're trying to create space in the joint. And once we create space in the joint, we can't just send you off and let your body make its own adaptations. We want to make sure that we are controlling how that space is used in our body, which is why we do the CARs and the pales and not pales and rails. We do the CARs so that we can upload the information that we're giving into our central nervous system or that we're trying to create. We need biology to change the neurology and neurology to change the biology. And so we're doing this constant cycle of creating space in the joint and then uploading information with CARs. So our capsular hip CARs are going to look something like this. So finding something to balance against, I'm going to ground down with this leg, irradiate through my core, and come up to our first position. We're going to go bent knee CARs first. So making sure, I like to take my hand and put it on my knee so that I'm making sure my knee isn't doing any movement. And I'm going to find as much internal rotation as I can and as much external rotation as I can. Without having all of this happening, right? So trying to make sure that my femur stays in one place. So then finding our second transition point, a second round of capsular CARs would be finding our transition here and then working into as much internal and as much external rotation as I possibly can. Noticing where you feel certain pulling or tightness in your hip or in your body, and noticing how much internal or external rotation you have here. Our third transition position would be internal external rotation here when our legs together. So finding internal rotation and then external rotation out. Just trying to maintain that workspace that we've created. So that's a bent knee capsular hips CAR, and we're going to go and do a straight leg capsular hips CAR as well. So locking that leg out, keeping our foot flexed so that our knee and our ankle are one solid piece, and thinking about feeling from our hip. And again, trying to find as much internal and external rotation. Not being lazy with this leg, so staying nice and strong and grounded. This arm is driving down into the ground, and I'm keeping my core engaged. And I'm breathing here as well. So trying to find as much internal and external rotation. And I'm trying to find as many different positions that I can find as much internal and external rotation as possible, so that I'm giving my body as much good, clean information, afferent information coming up through the joints. So moving out to the side, again, finding internal and external rotation, keeping my knee locked, keeping my ankle locked, trying to feel my hip and the muscles in and around my hip do a lot of work. I'm also going to feel a lot of work on my standing leg, which is okay. That's stabilization. So we're training internal, external rotation. We're also training stability in our other hip, making sure that we're breathing. Again, trying to find all of those different positions where I can do internal and external rotation. If you have questions, if you're my clients, you know how to get a hold of me. So that's our CARs.